Holy crap, Marvel fans, one of the craziest leaks ever just happened for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, with the entire script leaking online. Kind of. And don't worry, I will explain everything that happened with this leak and where I think it came from. But I, like many of you, couldn't help myself and went right into this script and read the whole dang thing. And while I don't want to go beat for beat or spoil the entire film, there are a few crazy reveals about Kang the Conqueror and the multiverse that I absolutely need to dig into and speculate on with you. So buckle up, Marvel fans. The first thing we'll do in this video is talk about the leaks themselves and how exactly this happened. And then we'll get into the crazy reveals about Kang, and we'll need to speculate in there as well because we still don't have the full details of what all of this means. But we do have this crazy leak, and so the question is, what is this leak exactly, and how did something like this happen? So first up, let's clear up some misconfusion that's going on with regards to these leaks, because you may have seen a lot of people tweeting about this or talking about it on social media. The fact that the entire script for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has leaked online. Now, that's not exactly true. This is not a script. It does not have scene locations, scene descriptions. It doesn't have anything like that. What this is the dialogue for the movie. And to be more specific, this appears to be subtitles or closed captions that were being done for the film. It also appears that this is a translation. And so what it seems like happened was the person that leaked this either got a hold of a transcript from somebody taking the movie and putting in subtitles for a different language, or one of the people that was doing the subtitles for the film in a different language sent that document to a leaker. But okay, now we gotta get into these juicy freaking reveals, and this stuff is really crazy. Again, I want to give a final spoiler warning here. It does seem like a lot of this stuff is true, and one of the reasons we know that is that this thing is being taken down from a lot of different websites, including the Marvel Studios spoiler subreddit, and it is being taken down because of copyright issues. That means that it is actual property from Marvel Studios, from Disney. And I'm actually going to be vague about the dialogue itself. If you go read the transcript, you will know what I'm talking about, but I don't even want to put in the actual dialogue lines into this video, just in case Marvel Studios would then have grounds to take this video down. So the first bit that is revealed about Kang in this transcript is having to do with the quantum realm and his place within it. And so it's clarified that the quantum realm is a place outside of time and space, and that it's actually a prison for Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror did not just mysteriously arrive here. He didn't get into the quantum realm looking for something else. No, he was banished to the quantum realm. He was put here after he lost, seemingly, the multiversal war, although that is not explicitly spelled out. And so Kang was put into the quantum realm because he can't use his normal powers in a place that's outside of space and time. It's the perfect prison to be able to hold him, but Kang, being the conqueror that he is, took his prison and created an empire out of it. And as for what he is looking for a core or a battery of sorts to fuel his ship to be able to leave the quantum realm. That's what he wants to do. He wants to leave his prison, but he needs Pym particles in order to do that. And so now let's speculate about that point in and of itself before we get into some more of the reveals. So he was put into this prison. That is really interesting to me, and my mind immediately goes to him being put into this prison by He Who Remains. He Who Remains was said to be the person that won the first multiversal war, and we know this from Loki. He Who Remains takes the powers of Goliath and ends the multiversal war. Now, it is pretty curious, why doesn't He Who Remain actually just destroy the Kang the Conqueror? And to me, the only reason that he wouldn't do this would have to do with causality. Like, it is possible that he's afraid if he kills Kang, he'll be killing himself, or vice versa. Now, I do, of course, realize this is not how time travel works in the MCU, and we've seen variants like kill other variants, and they're not linked by causality at all. However, there's something weird going on with Kang the Conqueror specifically, And it's just one of the only things that I can come up with as far as an explanation as to why He Who Remains wouldn't just destroy this other variant of himself. I suppose it's possible that He Who Remains simply couldn't destroy Kang and instead just had to put him into this quantum realm prison. Now, the next reveals come from a speech that Kang the Conqueror is giving. He's talking about the City of Time, this fortress from where he will take over the stars, but he also talks about conquering eternity, and he does reference the Kang Dynasty. Now, this is pretty fascinating because it seems as though Kang took his prison in the quantum realm, essentially turned it into Chronopolis, and with his ship, he could just use that army and use the resources of this time city to go conquer the multiverse. It's kind of like a different version of the Citadel that He Who Remains was in Loki Season 1. It's also really interesting that he talks about conquering eternity, and this is interesting because we have heard and we have actually seen evidence of leaked trademarks for future Marvel projects that heavily imply eternity having a big role. There was a copyright or a trademark for Eternity Saga, and even an Avengers movie called Avengers Eternity Wars. And we did see Eternity in Thor Love and Thunder, and even though I didn't love the depiction of Eternity in that film, this other entity, right? The love character, that's something like a child of eternity or a mortal that became a child of eternity. There's something really interesting going on with that concept, and I think it is going to play the long game into something that Marvel might explore in Secret Wars, but perhaps beyond Secret Wars. And so I wonder if Kang is actually really trying to overthrow eternity to gain total and complete control of all of the multiverse. Now, there's a lot of speculation on my part injected into what I just talked about, but it's super fun nonetheless, and I'm definitely excited to get more clarification when I actually see the film. Now, the next reveals come from Kang talking about how he views time, and he references a major problem with all of the multiverse, and he describes it as himself, or rather his variants, and the fact that they treat time as though they are children. And he says he sees the ending. He saw their chaos going out to all of these different worlds. There's even reference to universes colliding with each other. Endless world collisions, which I think might be a mistranslation of the Incursions. And so Kang is ultimately seeing that the multiverse is dying, and is because of his variants. And so that's really the motivation for him wanting to take control of what he describes as the whole situation. And this might be the most interesting part of the leaks, as it ties to the Incursions and what's going on with the future of Marvel Studios. We've been really speculating and trying to come up with theories as to how Secret Wars, Battle World, Kang the Conqueror, and different variants of Kang could possibly tie to the Incursions. But in this part of the script, they are specifically talking about how the variants of Kang treating time with disrespect or disregard is creating chaos that is leading to the Incursions, that the entire multiverse is actually being destroyed because of the tampering that Kang is doing. That's really fascinating to me. It makes my mind go back to the lines in the finale of Loki Season 1 where He Who Remains is talking about trying to prevent the ending of everything. And immediately I thought of the Incursions. Because in Marvel Comics, the Incursions are when two universes collide, destroying either both universes or one of the focal points, which were in the comics, Earth. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot, or maybe you've read these books yourself, but essentially two universes would collide. The place that they would be colliding would be the planet Earth, and if one of those Earths would be destroyed, both universes would be left alone, but if they ended up crashing into each other, both universes would be destroyed. And it does seem like the MCU version of Incursions are going to be a little bit different, because we're rumored to get one in the Marvel's film, and the Marvel's film is likely to take place off of Earth, so I highly doubt you're going to see the incursion focal point happen on the planet Earth specifically. It's even possible that destroying one or more of those planets won't actually stop the incursions in the MCU, but now we know that just like in the comic books, the incursions are essentially going to lead to the end of the multiverse. And this guy, Kang the Conqueror, wants to conquer everything, including his own variants, so that then he can take control of the entire timeline, preventing this tampering, which would then lead to the incursions, which would then lead to the end of the multiverse. But he's obviously a really bad guy too. It's not like he's doing this out of complete noble principles. He even tells some of the characters that he's going to wipe out our timeline completely from existence and remove that timeline all the way, probably just because he's upset at Janet. Now, let's talk about for a second how this ties into some of the other rumors that we've been hearing about the Kang Dynasty and about Secret Wars. Number one, it really does seem like this Kang the Conqueror variant will end up being the Kang that we see in the Kang Dynasty. I mean, he literally references the Kang Dynasty. He talks about how he was imprisoned in this quantum realm. He talks about how maybe he even started the very first multiversal war, which has led to where we are at now. And he's doing that because he wants to stop the incursions. And so it seems like he will exit the quantum realm. He will escape his prison in this movie, but he will still need to go gather strength and other forces to be able to take over other universes. And we think that that will eventually resurface in the Kang Dynasty when he comes back to Earth, likely with a huge army, maybe even with some other villains from other franchises, and he begins to take over our Earth. But this could also show us how this variant of Kang will eventually take the powers of the Beyonders. I mean, he's already incredibly powerful, able to manipulate time, able to do all kinds of crazy, almost borderline magical things. But if this character is studying the incursions, trying to prevent the incursions, and trying to figure out principled ways to navigate the multiverse and take it over, that will likely lead him to the discovery of the Beyond verse, of the Beyonders, or at least the power that they have. But even though it's only a little mention of eternity, I can't help but feel like the entity of eternity, and perhaps the multiversal eternity, is actually the thing that this variant of Kang needs to defeat or take over. And that's kind of interesting because that could lead us into Secret Wars, where this Kang is trying to do this. He's trying to take over eternity, and once he finally does take over the multiversal eternity, the Avengers will have lost. Now, there's one last little thing that we need to talk about in this video, and that is the rumored post-credit scene that is also mentioned in this leak. The scene is described as Cassie Lang looking at a bunch of screens and seeing a signal for something called the Avengers failsafe program. And this could be multiple different things. It could be the multiversal Avengers trying to reach out to her with an understanding of what is going on to try to, prevent Kang from taking over the multiverse. But it could also be the Young Avengers, perhaps even associated with a variant of Kang in the Iron Lad character. Because we've been hearing a lot about how you're going to see the Children's Crusade and characters from the Young Avengers books like Wiccan and Speed and maybe even Miss Marvel all be teamed up via the Vision Quest show and Agatha Coven of Chaos. And so it's possible that in this post-credit scene, Cassie Lang is getting some kind of a message that's going to take her to this other team or to another reality where then she will be able to start to strategize against Kang the Conqueror. And I really think this could be coming from the Young Avengers. It could be coming from the multiversal group of Avengers that's perhaps already started trying to gather forces. Or it could be both. Like maybe the Young Avengers or this Avengers failsafe program is the same thing as the multiversal Avengers. Regardless, that end credit scene likely is setting up people preparing for Kang at a big scale. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and our live streaming channel because we give away dope nerdy things to lucky subscribers each and every month. And if you want to watch more, why not check out this video I just made about some crazy leaks about Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, Mephisto, and Wiccan.